Hi, so it is day 2 of the Incredible Inedible Egg. Just a little recap of how we started with our egg experiment yesterday. We first started with a regular egg. We note the size of the egg, hardness of the shell. We first put the egg into for day 1. So what I did is I did another one just so we can have a frame of reference. So this is an egg at day 1. We put it in the vinegar solution. There are the bubbles forming around it. And you can still see the shell is very much intact. You can see bubbles rising to the top. That is, remember, the lid must stay off the jar so that the gases can escape. Now, here's a look at a day 2 egg. So day 2's egg, you can see the foam on the top is dissipating just a little bit, but you still see that there are lots of bubbles connected to the egg. But now, if you note that there's a distinct difference, the shell of the egg has become much thinner, and you can now start to see the yellowish yolky substance that's underneath the shell. Now there's still a thin coating of the shell there, as you can see, and you can see some places where the bubbles are in thick patches. The shell is still kind of intact there. But if you notice, from appearances, the egg seems like it might actually be increasing in size. Try to give you another viewpoint of the egg. So you can see that what apparently is happening is that the shell is slowly but surely disappearing. So again, this is what our egg looks like day 2. So we'll check back with day 3 and we will see what the changes are. We might even see, we will have to take, now that the shell isn't hard anymore and it's quite thin, we're going to have to be very careful. We can see if maybe we will actually be able to take the egg out of the jar tomorrow. We'll have to see about that. Until then, stay tuned for day 3 of the Incredible Inedible Egg. Welcome back to day 3 of the Incredible Inedible Egg. So today we're going to take our final look at what our egg has transformed into. We can see here, I'm going to move the camera right quick. And we can see that there's still a little bit of light residue. You can see a little bit of the eggshell residue swimming at the top of the vinegar solution. You don't really see all those excess bubbles moving around. You do see some still attached to the egg, but not as many as we started off with, definitely in day 1 and then in day 2. So now we're going to carefully remove this egg from this vinegary substance, and we're going to rinse it off lightly, and then we're going to have a closer look at what it looks like now. You have to be very careful when you're removing the egg from the vinegar because you don't want to squeeze it, okay? Remember, as you can see, the shell is gone. You don't, I repeat, you don't want to squeeze it, okay? So now we are going to get ready to remove our egg. And I'm going to actually use a spoon to help me get it out so that I don't make the mistake of squeezing it. And then you will see maybe a little pause in the video and then you will see what it looks like freshly rinsed off. And we'll continue from there. All right, so I have rinsed off our egg, and just for comparison's sake, I want you to see what our egg looks like now, completely shellless. And as you can see, it is indeed larger than what we started off with. We started off with an egg this side with a shell on it, and now we have moved to the shellless egg. Got to be very careful. I don't want to pop it because it is, you can hold it, but you just have to be very, very careful. Do not squeeze. So you can hold it in your hand. You can see it's a little rubbery. Okay, don't want to squeeze it too much. About what I'm doing right now is about all you really want to do to your egg. Okay, so now, so let's talk about what exactly happened to our egg as it went through this process. So, what happened to the shell? So, the vinegar contains acid, and the eggshell is made out of calcium carbonate. So, when the two get together, you get this reaction. So, what does that reaction mean? So, what caused the bubbles that were attached to the eggs? As the acid in the vinegar dissolved the shell off of the egg, the eggshell produced the carbon dioxide, which gave us all of those bubbles. And remember on day one, when all of the bubbles was just floating to the top, okay? Because it was an immediate and very fierce reaction, because of course, if we remember, this egg was, the first egg was, covered. So the acid in the vinegar immediately went to work with a full force to remove, or what we call dissolving, this shell. Okay. Did the egg get bigger? Yes, it did. Okay, so as the shell slowly dissolved off of the egg, we have this very thin membrane that's on this egg. But because, and this is the part that's like underneath that shell. So because we have this now rubbery substance and the shell has been dissolved, the water actually gets to seep in to the shell, or in this case, the vinegar. And because it's vinegar and it's not water, it does expand, but not as much as it would expand if you put it in pure water. Okay. So as we talk about that, let's talk about taking it a little further. Okay. Remember to be very gentle with it. It is easy to get relaxed with this and want to do a big squeeze. That we don't want to do. Okay. We don't want to do that. Also, we don't want to eat this. Please, 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 do not cut this open and eat this. It's going to make you sick. It's going to give you a very, very bad stomachache. Don't do it. Okay? So, now that the egg is no longer in the vinegar and the excess shell residue has been removed, you can get a nice little bowl. You don't necessarily have to put it back in the jar. You can get a nice little bowl, fill it with water, and place the egg in it. Okay? And then watch it over maybe a day. Sometimes it doesn't even take a whole day, and see what happens to the egg. Then you can pour that water out gently, remove the egg, and if you have some corn syrup, or if you decide you want to buy some corn syrup to continue this experiment, just to take it a little further, let's see what happens. We're going to put this egg in this corn syrup. You're going to see that there's going to be a much different reaction to what happens with the egg with the corn syrup versus what happens to the egg with the pure water. So, happy egg testing. Be on the lookout for our next video. Okay? We have a new experiment coming up. It is going to be fun for the kiddos, and it's going to leave them with something to play with after the experiment ends. Ta-ta for now. This is your friendly summer scientist, Yardley, Yorkshire. Until next time, bye-bye.